I had these potato chips the other day, and since this can is really, really small, they were empty after a few minutes. And I thought, ooh, so sad this is empty. But while I was thinking, why here's only 40 gram in it, and this takes only a few minutes to eat, especially in my situation, you know, coming up with the next idea, taking a new video and that stuff, I was like, can we perhaps do something with this little can, and can we perhaps turn this into something really useful and beautiful at the same time? So I came up with the idea that I could store my sewing yarn that I don't use for sewing in this box, so that I have it at hand, and that I can use this for those little nests that you can put into a collage, for example, or you know that when you take the thread and then you roll something up like this, and then you do it like this and put it behind some butterflies, for example, in a collage. That looks always so beautiful and brings especially butterflies so much more to life than without this. But when you use it, especially when you want to use two colors at the same time, it's not so handy. These rolls are running over your craft desk and they are everywhere, but not there where you can find them. So I came to the idea to put these into this can here, and by happy accident, as you can see, these fit in here really, really well. So the can is a little bit higher than this roll is. That means, to be exactly, the rolls are approximately 7.5 centimeters, and this can is about a little bit more than 8 centimeters. So if you want to use such a Pringles box as well, then you have to search for these that have 40 gram in it. So these are the smaller ones. Normally they come in a very long size. Perhaps you know those as well. If you can't find these smaller ones in your area, of course, you could take one of the longer ones as well, cut them down, and then just put the lid back to the can. That should work as well. Or you could find a similar package like this that is round and has approximately the height of your sewing yarn, so that you have this is half of a centimeter higher than the yarn is. I guess you can find this in your house or somewhere else, even in the trash can or somewhere else. So I have decided that I want to put some neutral yarns in here. I have made a second one with some more brighter colors like blue and yellow and that stuff. But for this one, I want to have my neutral colors in here. And I will explain shortly how I decided how many rolls I can put in here. So I have put them in there. Where are my scissors? Let me just cut this off so that I don't get a mess there in this thing. I have put them in there like this so that they can move a little bit around. You can test if this will work in the end by just grabbing one of the ends of the thread and then just do it like this, and you can see the roll is moving. You can put your hand here, and if you can take it out really easily, then it will work in the end as well. Sometimes you have to turn the roll around in the other direction. As you can see now, it works way more easily. So you have to test that out a little bit. Of course, it depends also on the thickness of the rolls that you have, how many you can put in here. But please don't press them too close to each other into the can. Otherwise, you can't take it out in the end. So good. So that's the only thing that you have to have in mind when you want to do this project. And now, of course, I want to hide this orange color here and, of course, the brand of those potato chips. And for that, I want to use 1 or a half of the Backdrops papers by Tim Holtz. This is volume 3. If I can find this on Amazon, I will link that down below for you so that you can grab that if you want. And these normally come in this bigger size. I've already chosen one of the pages and I have cut them. I have cut this in half. As you can see, this is exactly the half of one full of these backdrop sheets. And the good thing about this is the size of this paper is fantastic, because look at this. If you roll it around here, you have exactly the right size so that it can overlap here a little bit. It is long enough, and if you do it like this, you can see it's nearly exactly the right height. We have only this orange little thing here that I will cover up with something else later, because I also want to glue some lace here to the bottom to make it a little bit cuter. So first of all, we are going to glue this here. Of course, you can use any scrapbooking paper or whatever you like. You can use tissue paper. Then I would suggest to put a layer of gesso, white gesso, for example, to this thing so that the orange doesn't come through. But you can glue any other paper that you want. You don't have to use this one here. But I liked this design, and I will tell you why. Because here there are these little samples of fabrics, and these little labels here, I guess, say the price of these little fabrics. And for my theme for this little can, this fits really, really well. I will tell you in a second why. So let's just glue this down. I'm using some double-sided tape for the beginning and also for the rest here, in combination with some liquid glue, because I can't get this off. This is sticking so well. Because I want to have the chance that I can put this here so that it stays in place exactly like this, so that this can't fall off anymore, that I can get the right position. And now I'm taking this like this. I'm putting some more double-sided tape here to make sure that the edge of the paper later on sticks really, really well. The same here. And then oh no, do it straight, Louise. And then I will put some liquid glue on top to make sure that I can move the paper around a little bit there where I want to have it, to make sure that I don't have any air bubbles. That's also a great trick if you want to glue a junk journal cover, for example. That's really helpful to have these both things to glue. I'm using the junk journal glue by Funkelkram. That is a German brand. Alternatively, I can't say this word, bookbinders glue, sorry, would work really well as well. And now we are going to take a little bit of this glue, put that here, and also on top of the tape, but you don't have to bring it to the very edge because of the double-sided tape. That will stick good enough. You can do it like this. You have not such a mess on your table this way, I would say, when you don't have to put it to the very edge. And when we have that, we can just roll it around here. Press it down really well to make sure that you don't have any air bubbles. That's a little bit tricky, but it works really well if you take your time to do that. And now the double-sided tape is immediately sticking to the can, and the liquid glue makes it, yeah, that you have glue everywhere under the paper. So I will go around the whole thing. Then it looks like this. And now I'm going to seal this with some Mod Podge. This is the hard coat Mod Podge. This coat for me is really helpful because it gives us a water resistant surface later. So if I have some wet mediums on my fingers, paint for example, and I get something of that here to the can, then I can easily get rid of it with a wet baby wipe, for example, by just rubbing over it, and then that will go away and this is clean again. And that gives a really nice finish as well. Looks really cool when this is dry. So I will quickly dry that with my heat gun. When this is dry, we can cover up this orange here on the bottom. And for that, I have chosen just a piece of scrapbooking paper. This is a little bit narrower, more narrow, sorry, than the lace that I want to use in a second, so that this brown paper disappears completely behind the lace. I don't want to have it peeking out like this. That would look strange in my eyes. So I have just eyeballed that and then just cut it a little bit smaller than this is here. And to glue this, I'm using some double-sided tape again. I think I'm going to start here where the other paper is overlapping as well, so that we only have one of these ugly areas. And now, of course, I'm trying to press this to the bottom so that it lines up with this silver edge here, so that I can't see any orange anymore. And for such a small surface like this paper strip, I'm using only double-sided tape and no liquid glue. You could do it with additional liquid glue, but this is really easy to do, so as you can see, and this holds really well. So if you have a good double-sided tape, then just do it like this, because you know that it will be okay. Make sure that everything is in place, and then we are going to use some glue again. This is again the junk journal glue, but you can also use some bookbinders glue or whatever glue you want to use and what you have, and you know that you can glue lace to paper. Any glue that works for that would work for this here as well. So I'm just cutting my lace so that it's a little bit more handy, and then I'm just gluing it on here. Here at the end, I am letting this overlap a little bit so that you can't see where the lace is glued together. I mean, you can see it, but that it looks not so weird. It's easier to do it like this, and then this can dry. I think it's already so dry that we can go on. And now I would like to decorate this can with some cats, because for me, yarn or wool is always combined with cats, because cats are playing with wool and yarn, and they have these little balls and that is, I think that is something that belongs together. I have cut out these cats here with the help of this die cut set by Zizix and Tim Holtz. This is relatively new, and this is called Mischievous, and these cats are just so cool. I will link this down below for you if I can find it. The number is 665996 if you want to check that out in your favorite craft shop or wherever. If I can find that on Amazon, I will link it down below for you. So I have cut these out from a normal scrapbooking paper in brown. And I want to use 2 layers of each cat that I want to glue here, so that they are, when they are glued on top of each other, that they are a little bit thicker, and that they can stand out a little bit more from this surface here. To glue that, I'm using some Mod Podge again, because this way I can make sure that they are glued really well, because Mod Podge is a glue, of course. And at the same time, I can seal the surface of the paper with the Mod Podge a little bit, so that I get the same waterproof surface like on the paper that I have below the cat. And this is also a really easy way to glue those die cuts when you can go over them with the paintbrush. For me, it's really easy. And I have to say, normally to glue this, it's a really easy thing. But in this case, it's a little bit hard, but that's because of my paper. I've realized that while I've made another of these cans for my German video, and I've realized that the paper is such a bad quality that it's so hard to glue that together. It sticks not so well with the Mod Podge, but if you have a good paper, or let's say a normal paper, then this would be really easy to glue it together. So please don't freak out when you see me trying this here, because yeah, normally it's really easy. When this is dry, it looks like this. Isn't this just cute? Oh, I'm so in love with these little cats. And now I want to make some holes here into the can, so that I later on, when the thread is in here, I can take it out through these holes. And I want to make them a little bit more sturdy by adding some eyelets. And now I'm making some holes. If you have this Pringles can and the crocodile, I'm using the whole distance here. So I have put this a little black thing to the very back, so that I have the whole distance that the crocodile is able to make. And then I'm just making some holes, and I'm making these relatively randomly. I don't want to have them too regular, so that I also have the possibility later to put the yarn through these holes where the yarn wants to be. I will explain that in a second, because sometimes these rolls are a little bit, you know, like little bitches. Sorry, but that's a fact. So I'm trying to, of course, not make the hole there where the head of the cat is, so that we have it like this. And then I will take some eyelets and just put them in here and press them with the crocodile as well, so that it looks like this. And I will do that for the other holes as well, of course. Okay, so here we go. Now it looks like this, and I think even if you won't put the lid on top and just store some markers or something like that in here, it looks really cool when it has these little holes. I think that gives the cats way more interest. And before I put the yarn in, I want to cover up this little area here where the lace is overlapping. That looks not so beautiful. And to do that, I want to put some buttons here. And I think I will go with a bigger one and 2 smaller ones on the left and the right side of this one here. Perhaps this and a very small one here. Yeah, that looks great. So I have chosen the middle one so that it is covering up the whole thing there. So let's glue these down, and I'm gluing them now because it's easier to do that while this can is empty, so that I can press this and then take my heat gun to dry the glue. Okay, so this is not totally dry, but I think it's dry enough that we can go on. And I think these buttons are a really cute addition to this whole design. That looks really, really cute. And now we can take our threads and just find the end. And then first put the end of the thread through one of the holes, put that in. Take the next roll and do the same. And now perhaps it makes sense why I have made more holes than I have rolls, because here you can see the thread is going directly from the roll here to the hole, so it's here. The next hole is here, but if I want to put the roll here and the thread there, then it's perhaps not exactly the right position for the thread so that it can go out easily. So I'm taking just the next hole and put it through here so that it works more easy. As you can see, it goes out really easy. And perhaps you have rolls that have not the same thickness. The white one, for example, is way thicker than this brown one. And then it's really helpful to have several holes, not only for decoration, but also, of course, to help to find the right position for the thread. So now we put this in here. Ooh, come on, go through there, please. It's a little bit tricky in the beginning when you want to fill this up, but please have in mind that you don't have to do that every day. I mean, you fill this up and then your thread will last for a very long time, because this takes long until the roll will be empty, of course. If you use that for those little nests for collages and something like that, then of course this will take very long. And now we can close that, and then we can test this if it works. So I'm just taking the thread here, and you can see when the roll is moving and rotating like this, it works really well. So I'm doing that for every single thread here to see if it works well, or if they are perhaps making some problems. But this seems to work. And the good thing about this is you could now also say, I want to have a mixture of this brown and this brown. So you can just take both of these and take them out at the same time like this. I have to do that with my right hand, sorry. And just take out as much as you want. And when you crumble them up a little bit, you will have this little nest in exactly the colors that you want. And you can also mix several colors together. And this way you could mix those colors that you want with each other. You could take black and this one here, for example, black and brown, and just move it a little bit. So I'm moving my hand also like this, because as you can see, these are very far away from each other. But of course you could also do it like this and take them out with both hands, and then you can mix them up in your hands so that you have the mixture of your colors that you want to have. Yeah, so now this will go to my shelf, and I will never search for my threads again, because now I have this little thing here, this little can. I hope you liked it. If you want to make this by your own and post it to social media, for example, then please tag me so that I can find your results. I would be really happy to see something like this on social media somewhere. So have fun creating this for your own craft room, and see you the next time. Bye bye.